in money. When it comes to opportunities lost, any visitor that comes to your website and cannot do business with you is lost money. So we're looking at both, making you money and saving you time. And that's with the storefront technologies. On the back end, because we do pass the data into Avanti, and what's your company? No, just kidding. Press, say it again? PressSense. So because we actually do integrate with both, and we actually do have a plugin with XMPie as well, we actually do save you time in data entry. So instead of you manually having to enter all the data after the order, we flow the information directly into all of the systems, so everything speaks to everything, saving you, once again, time, knowledge. It's a lot easier for you even to hire people that are not extremely familiar with the systems, because one system talks to another system, instead of you having to onboard train them for 2 to 3 months how to use a system, how to enter the data.
Thank you, Slava. Burton, just quickly, before we go to the next question, how does XMPie help printers save time and money specifically?
Certainly. So because in a web-to-print context, we're talking templated documents, this is where it's best suited for repeat type workflow. We save a lot of time about how that job gets into your shop and frankly gets onto your press. Because the job setup is tied to that business product online, that business card can be automated and the JDF can inform the digital front end in front of your press how that needs to be treated, and it can be automatically, the job ticket automatically flows right out onto your press. So a business card can be a complete lights out automated workflow. I'll also just again mention that in terms of the order, in terms of the billing, the invoicing, the fact that you're getting paid in advance for print, doing away with your 30, 60, 90-day receivables, huge advantages to companies. Just the cost of doing a purchase order is in the order of anywhere between $25 and $50 for the average company today. So the fact that we can literally accelerate all aspects of that administrative process, the production process from pre-press to getting it directly out onto press, makes us an extremely valuable tool. And then, as I said, being able to open up a service that's available 24/7 and add new value-added services so print is protected from becoming a simple commodity. Those are definitely areas where we focus on for sure. And I'll just reference one other example. For over 800 iGen customers, Xerox did a study of the print volumes of those produced with XMPie and without. Those with XMPie produced over 26% higher volume across the board. And that study is published. So it's a good testament to how our technologies build print volumes and enable you to have a competitive and profitable business.
Michael, please state which company you're from and tell everybody how you help customers save time and money.
Presswise. Booth 5344.
Presswise by SmartSoft.
Yeah, SmartSoft also does some mail software, so we were a lot of people. Okay, so time and money. Let's face it, whenever you're doing an estimate, back in the day, you had that one guy with all the brains, and he knew he had to touch everything and understand the processes. He had to understand the finishing task, which paper to pick. Is that a problem paper? Is it a paper? Are we doing heavy ink coverage? All these things that you need a big brain to figure out. Well, once you've entered it into a Press MIS system like Avanti or Presswise, the issue is that I don't have to think so hard. A normal mortal, a CSR who you just hired, could open up an old quote and save it and just change the quantity. That saves a lot of time. And then the approval process, being that it's something that's online, if it's a print MIS system that's in cloud, they just click and say, yeah, I'm going to order 500. And then the whole issue about once it can be automated, and it can also be, you may want to pre-flight it, you may want to look at the PDFs, but the bottom line is that once it's ready, it's good to go and it's printed. You don't even, you put it in a box, you don't have to weigh it, because we already knew, because of the paper stock mass that we've entered in the print MIS system, it's, we just go, the label's ready to put on, and it goes out the door. So that saves a lot of time. Now, does that save you money? Well, you're not having to hire another humans and fill out a whole bunch of people in a staff, because a lot of the stuff is automated because you're not touching it. That saves you money right there.
Thanks. Stephen, same question. How does Avanti save printers time and money? And then I'm going to ask you a question after.
So right back to where we kicked off, it's all about touches. How can we eliminate touches? So you can literally automate as much of the workflow as you want. Perfect example, XMPie customer that also runs Avanti. They're down in New Orleans. A business card order. Everybody wants to compete against Vistaprint. How can I ever get an order of business cards out for $10 or $20? Let me tell you a little story about a customer down in New Orleans where on a business card order, the first time that someone touches that job inside the print shop is literally after the first cut has happened on the sheet of paper. The order comes in across XMPie. It's automatically created in an Avanti. It's imposed. It's 20 up on a sheet. It comes off we send the job down to the Xerox printer. It literally, as the sheets are coming off, they get stacked. The first cut actually happens. The first touch by someone in that shop is when they literally turn the paper sideways. They make the second cut. They put it in a box, and it goes out the door because Avanti's already kicked the shipping label out. That's the level of automation that you can get to on any templated job that both my colleagues here have talked about. So that's where you save the money. The other place that you save the money is really streamlining the onboarding of a job. So that client service or that CSR rep that is now banging in orders, well, if you've got web to print, when they hit that big green button of, yes, I'd like to order this, via interconnection between the different platforms, that job gets created automatically in Avanti. There's no fat fingers re-entering that. It's already in Avanti. When they click go, it's already mapped into Avanti, creates a job ticket, and can go on downstream. Also, job tracking. They don't have to run around the shop trying to find the status of that job when they've got the customer on their phone saying, hey, where's my job? It'll be right in front of them on the screen because they're getting the updates off the floor. And then finally, if just one touch point, all four of us have talked about it, if you can automate the shipping where the packing slips and the labels are automatically created because it's going right out to FedEx, Purolator, or UPS and printing that label, and you, again, don't have someone re-entering information that's already been entered somewhere else, that's your home run. The customer is doing the heavy lifting on the web to print side. Where do I want you to ship it? Who am I as a customer? What should I pay? It's cranking out the invoice automatically. It's cranking out the packing slips automatically. It saves you a lot of time and money.
Thanks so much. So we have 5 minutes left. I'm going to ask one more question and ask that you keep it to a minute or less. And then also at the end of it, if you could just let people know where you are in the show and how they can get in touch with you. So I'll start with you, Stephen. And I do apologize because it's a big question that you're going to have only a small answer to. But you can talk with these guys later and find out the rest of their answers. So, in your professional opinion, what should printers be preparing for in the next 5 years regarding workflow?
Automate. So it's going to be all about automate. If you have to do something, if you have to do something repeatedly, whatever it is, you've got to figure out a way to automate it. So the next 5 years, beyond touches, it's about automating. So what we've seen, we need to act more like manufacturers and look at every single step. We hear about there's going to be driverless cars. Take that analogy into your print shop and think, is there anything I'm doing today that I do? And if I can save 1 minute on ad job per day and I've got 50 to 100 jobs, that's the home run. Save something that takes me a couple of seconds, but I do it 50 to 100 times a day, that's the home run.
And where is your booth and how can people
Avanti,
get in touch?
right as you're heading out the main doors. We're right on the right-hand side as you go out the main door.
And website?
AvantiSystems.com.
Okay, now I'm done with you. Thank you. Slava.
All right. Kind of what holds in the future. What I see for printers need to learn more about customer retention, customer acquisition, customer fostering. How do you reduce the touch points between you and your customers in order for them to be ordering from you? The future is mobile. So can customers be interacting with you in mobile devices? How often can they be buying? How can you influence them to be buying from you more? How can you defend your turf to make sure they don't go elsewhere? So to me, the future it is understanding your customers better because there is already great plugins for the managing the customer once you actually have it. So in my mind, next 5 years, it is all about the customer.
And where's your booth and how can people get in touch?
Booth number is 5147 down that way, right under the sign 5100. Website is amazingprint.com. Amazingprint.com.
Thanks so much. Michael.
Thank you.
Okay, so obviously we're hawking the the print MIS system for automation. So yeah, it's the whole idea of quote to production to shipping, invoicing. You know, there's still a lot to be improved in that process today. We also, you know, when you talk about looking at equipment, because of course you're going to be doing that, things like the Duplo, you know, where it not only comes out the back end of an Indigo or a Xerox or a Ricoh or a Canon, but it goes right into a cutter and it goes right into a box. So, you know, automating the back end as well. And that's, you know, you certainly can come by our booth at booth 5344, which is right up this aisle. And our website is presswise.com.
Thank you so much, Burton.
Thanks, Mike. So, I guess for myself, where I see the future of print is really not redefining it, but recognizing that print is part of a broader graphic communications industry. And once you see communications in that broader context, print is not going away. It's a foundational communication channel. There's some great work being done by Canada Post in talking about the neuroscience of dimensional print and what that means in terms of the value to your recipient. But the biggest challenge I think most printers are going to face is embracing digital. And I think XMPie has really taken to heart the requirement to leverage the skill sets that you have acquired in your print businesses and to give you the tools to move that conversation and to link print to digital and make it an interactive conversation. And in doing so, I think as you're seeing marketing spend move more and more to be eclipsed by digital spend, you have to understand that digital is going to largely dictate in many cases where print is going to occur. Not playing in that game is, to me, a critical challenge of our industry. And so I'd invite you to drop by XMPie. We're part of the Xerox booth up in the facing back as you leave. We'll be on the right-hand side. But I'd be very happy to talk to you about how print can become an enabler for client acquisition, client awareness, the upsell and cross-sell and business development, moving into retention and loyalty campaigns. There is a ton of revenue that printers can be taking a hold of in the next 5 to 10 years, but it's all around embracing mobile and embracing digital communications as an extension of graphic communications and print.
Thank you so much, and thank you, everybody, for joining us. I really appreciate it. Mr. Frank Romano is coming up at 2 o'clock with a fireside chat. Yes, no fires, though. And
Hi,
thank you,
Frank.
gentlemen, very much for your time, and thank you all for your time.
Thanks, everyone.
Good job, people.